So a basketball commentator in America, he works for Fox Sports. He is now in getting some fire for suggesting or seeming to suggest that his name is is it Chris Bouchard or Chris Broussard? He seems to suggest that Kevin Durant would not do well to move to Toronto because it's not a good place for Black people and Black athletes. That's just what it seems like he says. And I can read the article. Fox Sports analyst and pundit Chris Broussard is taking a lot of heat from Canadian NBA fans today over some bizarre comments he made about Toronto. Broussard made the remarks in question while discussing the possibility of the basketball star Kevin Durant being traded to the Toronto Raptors. And then he was asked if Toronto is a good landing spot for Kevin, and he said, well, this is I've been to Toronto, and Toronto's not America. You can see it. I don't know if somebody who is African American, he's using the word African American. I mean, I don't know whether or not this would be a great place for an African American, because it's not America. Great city, but it's not America, and you feel it when you're there. I'm telling you. I mean, this is what this guy says, typical American reaction. Dude has no clue that Toronto's basically the most. Look, let me just, I decided I wanted to bring my 2 cents into this. I'm a Toronto boy, born and raised. I've lived in Toronto for a very, this is where I was born, first of all, but I've also lived in America. And this comment that this person made is a typical Chris Broussard. This is a typical, a Black American thing to say. First of all, let me just say, as a Toronto boy, born and raised, and Toronto has problems. Canada has problems. You've heard them. You've heard me talk about Canada's problems. You've heard me talk about Canucks and how they can't run a country. You heard me say all of that. But can I say something to you? As a Black man who has lived in America and who is born and partly raised in Toronto, as a Black man, I feel more proud to be a Black man living in Toronto, in the greater Toronto area, than I do living in America. And now I know the type of people that go on BitChute. I know BitChute is a great website. It's a website for freedom lovers, but it does bring about a lot of, incel-y, racialist type who, anything to do with Black, as long as you're not talking down Black folk, they're gonna, they're always gonna have the, I'm sure there's gonna be 1 or 2 little comments, oh, nigga, you can kiss my ass, jump off a bridge, shoot yourself, incel, neckbeard. But I'm gonna continue, just know that I'm on to you. But yeah, he's right. It's not America. It's far better. Now, I love America. I love America. Don't get me twisted. I love America. America's a great country. I love the foundation. America was founded on freedom, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. They still hang on to their Second Amendment. You can't mess with Americans like you can mess with Canucks. I'll tell you that right now. Americans know how to run a country, unlike Canucks. But I'll tell you, as a Black man, and I'm a Canadian, okay? And Canada has its problems, but I've always said I'll never turn my back on my country. This is the country God gave me. And one of the things I love about this country, though it's got a lot of problems, is that, and living in both of those countries, I feel prouder living in Canada as a Black man than I do in America. And one of the reasons is that, in my opinion, I'm not bringing anybody down. I'm not saying that Black people in America are this. I'm not bringing anyone, but in my opinion, I feel that for those of you who've been to both countries, you may agree with me. It seems as though not just Black people, but minorities in general seem to do a lot better and are more accomplished and are more sure of themselves in Canada than they are in America. You go to Canada, I mean, the Black middle class in Canada is so much bigger. The amount of Black businesses, Black executives. I mean, this isn't, I'm not, I mean, and when I say, I'm not talking about some, just in sports or in acting, I mean, owning businesses, executives, doctors. It seems like it's a lot, Black people are more settled, in my opinion, in Canada than they are in the States. I feel that they're also less unsure of themselves. This whole, the white liberal globalists in Canada, they love to use the race card. They do this all over the world. They like to use racism to rile up Black people, to rile them up, not focus on getting them to own businesses, open up doctors' offices, being their own boss, building their own economy, but to be angry at racism, to always be angry. That's how they get control over them. It's not as easy in Canada. I mean, you might notice it. The whole Black Lives Matter thing in Canada is not as strong as it is in America, and I feel that's because Black people like myself in Canada, especially in the GTA, they are more sure of themselves. They're more focused on building up their economy. They're more, I would say they're less race conscious as well. I mean, they still, still got the person, race, Black power and all this sort of thing. You still got that. That you still got it, but it's not as strong as it is in America. So I think if Kevin Durant were to move to Canada, I think it'd be good for him. I don't know who. I love sports. I like basketball. I don't follow it as much, especially nowadays. It's gotten all woke and everything. But I don't know what Kevin Durant is all about. But I think that if he were to move to Toronto, or you want to move to Scarborough, want to move to North York, want to move to Etobicoke, you want to move to here in Oshawa where I am, you want to move. I think you'd feel better about you. I think you'd do well to see. I mean, let me talk some hard truth. When you live in America, it's really quite demoralizing to see how Black people in America live, and I'm not trying to be whatever. It's demoralizing. The crime, the drugs, and it's gotten. I mean, I don't know if it's gotten worse or it's gotten better, but it can be quite demoralizing. And it seems as though we don't even. It can be quite demoralizing. The gentrification, all that stuff. It's not as bad. I mean, I lived in America for quite a while. I went to middle school and high school there. And I decided I wanted to go back to Canada after I'd finished high school to go into college. I decided to go back 2011, 2012, decided to go back to my own country. And from being away from Canada for so long, I lived in Tennessee, deep south. Then I lived briefly in Buffalo, New York, and then I decided to move back. And I'd been away from home for so long. And it's funny, I know the white people on BitChute go, hate this, then go, I'm negative, you smart. Oh, shut up, shoot your ass. But it's almost like, in some cases, it's almost like the white people are acting the fool, and it's the minorities that are trying to get into college and university and doing all this. Or now, I'm not minorities still have their problems. That's just I'm not saying that. And Black people still committing a lot of crimes in the city and drugs and all this sort of stuff. It's still a problem, and especially them Black folk listening to too much American television, rap music, all this stuff. I'm not saying there's necessarily a problem with, and I don't want to sound like some old fogey rap music. I listen to a little bit of it sometimes too, but you know what I mean. But I think that was an ignorant comment that this guy made about how this is not America. I don't know what he was trying to say. I don't think he was saying that Toronto was a racist city, but it's almost like as if I don't know what he was trying to say. He's clearly not a very smart person, this guy who said that. Chris Broussard, he's clearly, first of all, he don't even look all that black. He looked like he's got white in it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I mean, come on, man. You're going to talk about blackness, be black, fully black, man. Stop all, I don't know where all these mixed people come up and pretend like they're experts in blackness. Anyway, but that's a very ignorant and stupid comment to make. I would think that if this guy or black people come to Canada, come to Toronto to see how it's done, to see how, if you want to, I know a lot of y'all probably think that black people are inferior, or you think that we are inferior. A lot of black people in America might think that you're inferior and you need the white man to give you stuff and this and that, and you're going to march up and down unless the white man recognizes you and the white man coddles you and the white man. Come to Canada and see what black people have done. And don't think that Canada's some Teletubbies, Barney, Sesame Street play. Canada did not allow minorities to move to the country until the 60s. And when they moved here in the 60s, it wasn't peaches and cream. I mean, you had people like Viola Desmond being thrown out of movie theaters in Halifax because she was not sitting in the correct row. And now she's on the, I can't remember which one's your $50, $20, whatever. They're going to knock the queen off the $20 and put Viola on there. I personally think that's a good thing. I don't know what the queen is doing on our money. She's not Canadian. I don't know why we keep having this whole queen business. I don't care who thinks that's a good idea. That's not my history. It's not the French Canadian history. It's not Native history. Get her out of there. Get her off the money there. Put a Canadian on there. If it means Viola, fine. I mean, whatever. But come to Canada. See, when you come to Canada, you come to Niagara Falls, Canada, you just step across the border. The amount of black-owned restaurants, the amount of black-owned supermarkets, black executives, and they didn't get that way because of the white man or this and that. Many of them are either immigrants or they are the sons and daughters of immigrants, and they didn't have it easy. I mean, they just did what they had to do. I mean, it's just how it is. So don't sit here and don't put down my town, Chris Broussard. Don't bring down Toronto. Toronto's got problems. But don't go on like that saying, oh, it's not America, it's not America. I think if black people were to visit Canada, if they were able to vet passports and see how people like my family live, and we didn't have it easy. I was lucky enough to be born here. My family, the previous generation wasn't, and they came here, no money. They didn't. I mean, a lot of them now want to pretend like they're some kind of liberals, but they didn't whine, they didn't carry on. They just got on with it, and look where they are now. And that's just how it is. And that's, I think that a place like Toronto or other urban areas, as a black person, I think you move here, you'd feel a lot better about yourself. You'd feel a lot better about who you are. You wouldn't feel that we are always the persecuted race, the poor race, the vile. You don't. It's not all like that here. So stop making those foolish comments. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. I saw that there on the news, and I thought I'd give my 2 cents about it. I think it was a stupid comment. But hey, I don't think he meant anything by it. I just don't think the guy is all that enlightened or all that informed. But anyway, that's all I've got to say about this issue. And this is